Hello guys, today we're going to be starting Introduction to Polynomials. We're going to start with some vocab. Hopefully some of this is review. If not, that's fine. That's why we're talking about it now. I do encourage you to write down the notes first. So pause the video, write down the notes, and then kind of listen to me explain. And then pause the video again, copy the notes, listen to me explain. And then that way, I think that's the best way to learn this stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. A monomial is an expression that has only one term, coming from the word mono. So 3x and 5x squared are examples of monomials because it's just one term put together right there, or 5x squared. There's nothing added or subtracted to it. A binomial has two terms. So for example, 3x plus 7, the 3x is one term and the 7 is another term, and they're being added. Or, for example, x squared minus 1. A little side note that I did want to add to this stuff is that 7 and negative 1 are also called constants because they have no variable being multiplied. A trinomial has three terms. So, for example, we've worked a lot in the past, hopefully, with x squared plus 5x minus 10. In this class, we'll be working with higher degrees. We'll learn what a degree is in just a minute. What I mean by degree is x to the third. The exponent is higher. So x to the third plus 6x minus 1. Another side note that I want to add is that the constants are the y-intercepts in these polynomials. And then a polynomial is many terms. So that just refers to two or more terms in the expression. So for example, a binomial is considered a polynomial, and a trinomial is considered a polynomial. Here, an example of a polynomial is x to the 4th minus 3x cubed plus 2x plus 7. Again, I encourage you guys to pause the video as I'm going through and write the notes. Another important word that we're learning today is standard form. Hopefully we've seen this. Standard form is rewriting a polynomial so that the terms are in order from the highest exponent to the lowest exponent. So for example, let's take 4 plus x to the 4th minus x plus 5x squared. If we were to write that in standard form, we would want to put the highest exponent first. The highest exponent is x to the 4th, so that one goes first. Then the second highest exponent is 5x to the 2nd, because 2 comes up, is smaller than 4. And then the next one is negative x. Notice that the x doesn't have an exponent written, but there is an understood 1 right there. So that's x to the power of 1. And then the 4, which is our constant, comes last because it doesn't have an exponent. So 4 is called a constant, and it's also the y-intercept. So what would be the y-intercept of this polynomial? 4. The degree of a polynomial is the highest exponent. So for example, in x to the 4th plus 5x squared minus x plus 4, this one would be considered a degree of 4 because 4 is the highest exponent. I came up with another example. Notice that this example, I purposely tried to trick you because I did not put it in standard form. So I did try to trick you on that one, so keep that in mind. 6x to the 3rd is supposed to be the one with the highest exponent. Therefore, in standard form, this one would come first. So this one has a degree of 3. Some other new vocab is the leading term. The leading term is the term that contains the term with the degree. That's very confusing. Or the highest exponent. So for example, in x to the 4th plus 5x squared minus x plus 4, the leading term is x to the 4th because that's what contains the degree. In this example, the degree is 3. So what's the term that contains it? The leading term is 6x to the 3rd. The leading coefficient is the number multiplied to the x, or if it's a different variable, y, z, it just depends, with the degree. So the number in front of the leading term. So here's the tricky part. This one is x to the 4th, right? What's that number in the front? That number is a 1 because there's an understood 1 there. So the leading coefficient is 1. Let's look at this example. Again, our leading term was 6x to the 3rd, so the leading coefficient is 6. So let's go ahead and do some examples on delta math. So let's start with polynomial vocabulary. I want to show you guys how to do this one. So answer the following about this polynomial. So it says, the expression represents a blank polynomial. So let's see what our options are. Is this a quartic, meaning to the 4th degree, quintic, which it means to the 5th degree, quadratic, which means to the 2nd degree, cubic, which means to the 3rd degree, or linear, meaning that the degree is 1. So again, how am I labeling these polynomials? By the degree, the highest exponent. So let's look at this example. What is the highest exponent? The highest exponent is 3. So this would be considered a cubic polynomial with how many terms? 1 is a term, this is a term, and this is a term. So it has 3 terms. The constant term is, so the number that's by itself is 1. The leading term is, remember that the term is the whole thing, and it's the one with the highest exponent. In this case, it would be 1/7 x to the 3rd power. That's our leading term. And then it says the leading coefficient is the number in front. The number in front of that was 1/7. So that's how you answer that question. Oh, it says we've got something wrong. What did I forget? Let's look at it. This expression represents, I made a simple mistake. I forgot the negative. Do not forget that negative. That is what I forgot. So if there's a negative right there, or it's being subtracted, you got to consider it. So let's see if that works. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and do another one. So take a minute and try this one. The expression represents, what's the highest exponent? The highest exponent is 5. So this is a quintic. How many terms does it have? It has 1, 2, 3. So it has 3 terms. The constant, or the number on its own, it's a 1, but there's that minus in front of it, so we can't forget that, -1. The leading term is the one with the highest exponent, which is -1/10 x to the 5th, like that. And then the leading coefficient is that number in front, which was -1/10. Alright, so let's see if we got it right this time. Yes, perfect. So that's how you do that one. Remember, quartic is to the 4th power, cubic is to the 3rd, quadratic to the 2nd, and linear would just be like 3x plus 1. Let's try rewriting the polynomials in standard form just to see what that looks like. So we have x to the 2nd plus 9 plus x to the 1/6. So standard form tells me to put the highest degree first, so that's going to be x to the 2nd. Then, is it the 9 or the x that comes next? The one that would come next is x to the divided by 6. I'm going to write it this way just so that you can see how I would like to write it. It's 1 divided by 6, because technically there's a 1 in front of that x, plus 9, like that. And let's see if that's standard form, and it is. Let's go ahead and try another one. Again, we want to put it for the highest exponent first, and then the second highest, and so forth. So this is -1/7. The highest exponent is 5. And then we continue with the x to the 2nd. Notice that I'm carrying the symbols. I'm carrying the pluses and minus, and then -5, like that. So that's how we put that one in standard form. Let's see. This is a good one. How many terms does this one have? This one has 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, we're going to put the one with the highest exponent first. Notice that when it's divided by 9, that's technically a -1/9. That's how I like to write it, x to the 5th power. Then we're going to put the second highest, -4x to the 3rd. Minus, again, I'm carrying that symbol that was negative in front of it, -9, like that. And let's check our answer. It's very good. All right, let's do the last one, polynomial terminology. This one. This is a good question. What is the y-intercept of the polynomial? If we go back to the notes, I said that the y-intercept was the constant, the number on its own. If you look at this polynomial, it doesn't have a number on its own. So therefore, it's 0. So what's the y-intercept? 0, like that. All right, let's try another one. What's the y-intercept? -x to the 3rd minus 3x squared. There is no number on its own, so this one's also 0. All right, let's see what other one. The leading term, so make sure you're reading the questions because it's not always the y-intercept. The leading term for this polynomial. Notice it's not in standard form. The leading term is the one with the degree being the highest number. The highest exponent, The highest exponent is x to the fourth, and it wants the term, so that's the whole thing, negative x to the fourth, like that. Alright, let's see if I can get one more. The leading term again. So again, we're looking for the highest exponent. The highest exponent in this expression is 3, so that's going to be x to the third. Whoops. Let's see. Very good. And this one's another leading term. I was hoping for a leading coefficient, because it could be a leading coefficient on some of these. The leading coefficient would be the number in front. So for example, the leading term on this one is negative 4x to the fourth. And the leading coefficient would have been just negative 4, because it will ask for that one, but this example did not. I hope this video helps you solve these on Delta Math, and I hope you guys have a good day.